Be a diligent, respectful and caring steward. This is all about a principle number 1 in your project management body of knowledge. We explore this particular dimension or this particular principle by looking into how a steward should take care of internal environment and how they should support the external role towards a stewardship. We will also look into the integrity, care, trustworthiness and compliance dimension of the principle which is all about stewardship. Before going into the detail, let me just read the statement from your guide so that we create a context related to this particular principle. Yes, it's all about taking care, it's all about setting up the right model, it's all about helping internally as well as externally and behaving as per ethics and values and ensuring that you are taking care of everyone who is working with you, be it your internal people or be it your external people. So, it's all about taking care of everyone. So, we get into the details and understand this thing a little bit more carefully. So, stewards act responsibly to carry out activities with integrity, care, trustworthiness while maintaining compliances with internal and external guidelines. So, it's like a balancing act. You need to ensure that you are carrying out your activities. At the same time, you also need to ensure that you are taking care of people and compliances together. They demonstrate, the stewards are expected to demonstrate a broad commitment to the financial, social and environmental impact of their project which they are supporting. So, it's like the holistic approach one should take in order to facilitate the project. So, as a project professional, project manager, you should be focusing on demonstrating stewardship in the internal and external context. So, let us look at the internal context first before we get into the kind of 4 pillars or 4 ideas around stewardship. So, operate in alignment with organization's values, principles and strategies, overall organization goals. So, you need to ensure when you are acting in your project team as well as facilitating various interaction, the activities which project is carrying is in alignment with what organization intend to do. So, you need to show your stewardship behavior by ensuring a proper alignment with strategies and value. You need to be respectful, you should be doing respectful engagement with your project team. So, you should be caring about their skills, about their development, you should be giving them appropriate place so that they can perform their work without much of stress in a way. Yeah? So, we should be respectful with our people. In general, when you look into project management related literature, command and control kind of behavior is no more expected. So, we should be focusing and valuing our team members when we are working with them. Diligent oversight of organizational resources. So, when you are working in a project, you should take care of each and every resource which is getting consumed in your organization, because it is all about internal act of stewardship which you are doing. So, resources could be financial resources, resources could be the organizational time, the organizational reputation, whatever you are using, the infrastructure you are using, you should make the right use of those organizational resources. You should also promote your team using those organizational resources with good care. You need to apply your authority, accountability and responsibility appropriately. So, as a leader, as a guide, many times you need to apply your authority as well. You should be having your own accountability as well as you need to make other people accountable as well, and you need to do a lot of things yourself. So, you need to see carefully at what level of authority, accountability or responsibility might be needed in a given situation. So, this all is some of the example of your internal act of stewardship in the project context. Let us look at some of the external act. How as a steward behavior you take care of external environmental related things. So, you should be ensuring a good relationship with external stakeholders. You should be respecting their needs, their expectation, you should be transparent with them and maintaining a healthy relationship, trustworthy relationship with your external stakeholder. The external stakeholder might go beyond project organization as well. You should be focusing on environmental sustainability. So, it is a part of your stewardship principle, which is focusing on making optimum use of environment, not creating something which is harmful for the environment. So, when you deal with the project situation where as act of project is creating environmental issues, you need to be careful about it. You should find a way to avoid those kind of situations. Advancing the state of practice. So, it is like when you are working in a project management space, you might be working in a particular domain, you should be promoting the idea exchange at an industry level. You should be publishing various case studies, various articles where the industry can take benefit from your as well as your project knowledge. So, you should be promoting to the knowledge and practices of industry. This is like, these are the things which you are focusing on externally demonstrating stewardship. Impact on social, community, market and regions. So, you should be creating a positive impact on your professional community or the communities which are getting impacted by your project. The region which you are operating should be creating a good market condition for everyone, for yourself, for your competitors, for the partners. You should not be trying to create an unsustainable business model which might create a long term negative impact for the industry. So, this is like, if you do that, you will be violating the stewardship principle when it comes to external environment. Now, overall, as we saw here, that we need to behave or carry out our activities with integrity, care, trustworthiness and maintaining compliance. So, now we want to get into little bit in detail of what is integrity, care, trustworthiness and compliance with the help of some of the example. I understand there are a lot of ideas, lot of theories, but these principle or high level understanding helps us in guiding our behavior when it comes to working with people, when it comes to leading them and when it comes to working with various stakeholders, internal as well as external. So, let us talk about integrity. So, integrity is all about acting upon your words. It is ensuring that you really walk your talk. It is all about demonstrating your values and principles. It is not like I believe in something, but I do something else. So, integrity behavior is that you care for what organization has decided, you care for organization values and your each and every step is in alignment with that. So, that is one of the dimension of integrity. It helps you in becoming or creating a trust. So, you do it by the integrity space, you build trust, because when you really act, will also trust you more. So, you should be building trust by way of demonstrating your values and principle on a regular basis. You should be working as a role model. So, this is like usually seen or said for any leader, walk your talk, etc., etc. But in a project context, and this is your first principle, it is like that you need to set the right example and you need to ensure that in your organization, in your project organization, you promote the people or you reinforce those right behaviors, so that by leading by example yourself as well as your key team members create the right environment for the project delivery. So, it is all about being a role model. So, demonstrating value, build the trust and play as a role model of doing things which are expected from the people. Now, empathetic, that is coming as another important element. Many of you must have studied about emotional intelligence and dealing with people, and empathetic way of working or working with the empathy is usually considered as one of the critical skill in today's work environment. So, we should be empathizing with our people, we should know their pain, their areas, their concerns, their fear and find the solutions which are empathetic in nature, which means which consider their point of view. We may not agree to their point of view all the time. As an individual, you have your own priorities as well, as an organization has their own priorities as well, but it should not be undermining the other people's point of view. So, that is an empathetic way of working and catering to the integrity. Self-reflective, the another idea which may fall under integrity, is all about that you can reflect on your own behavior and open for changing and learning from the past, and which is also leading to open for feedback. Now, integrity has a lot of ideas, other will not have it, but in general it is all about creating a role or a modeling a behavior which helps people in building trust and which helps everyone to care for each other. So, that is an integrity. Now we have a care, specifically talking about care. So you need to care. You need to care for whom? So as we have learned external, internal and external environment care as well, more or less the same thing. You need to care for your organization by way of utilizing their resources well, by way of complying to their policies, adhering to their values. It's all about you care for your organization. Many times it has been said that you should be using organization resources as efficiently as you might use your own resources. So you should be taking care of your organization resources very, very carefully. Then you need to focus on caring for your people. Yeah. So we learn about empathetic approach, we learn about integrity. You should be caring for your people. Now how do you care for your people? Yeah, that's becomes a very tricky thing, by way of helping them in identifying their strengths and weaknesses so that they can do the job which are more suitable for them, by way of creating learning opportunities for them, by way of giving right feedback for them, by way of creating a right environment for them so that they can perform and excel in their skills. So you as a leader is expected to demonstrate a lot of care for your people. Yeah. So you take care of organization resources and you need to care your people, and that's your stewardship is all about. Yeah. You need to care for environment. So we spoke about this external area. So you need to ensure that your project is not taking shortcut which is creating bigger environmental impact. So you care for that as well. Now you should be, while you are caring people, organization, environment, always focus on transparent and open communication. That's a good idea, which will be integrity and caring. I think it will be a little bit overlap. And you also need to manage potential downsides. Many times your project may create negative impact for some set of stakeholders. Maybe people will get impacted, some people will get positive impacted, some people will get negative impacted. So you as a project manager, as a steward, you need to focus on caring that negative impacted people as well, and you need to ensure that the potential downsides are managed and minimized. So that's your caring behavior as a project leader or professional. Now trustworthiness, it's all about representing your role well. Don't promise people which you can't do, which doesn't fall under your authority. When you are going for interaction, if something requires your team members and team people's evaluation, you wait for their evaluation rather than you start giving commitment on your own behalf, be it internal teams or external teams. So you need to represent your role well. Yeah. You should be very clear about your boundaries, what all what is the process of taking a particular decision, so that there is a less misunderstanding between other stakeholder and you, and that creates and builds trust. Else people will hope something from you, and if you don't meet that particular expectation, that will make them lose trust from you. See, the project management, we will learn various tools and other things also in the whole lecture, but in general, working with people and giving them a comfort is one of the key skill project manager is expected to have, and that's why the first principle is stressing on something that we are always expecting from any leader who is working in a project context. So represent your role well and identify the conflict of interest. Many times you might be in a situation where your personal interest might conflict with organization interest or a project interest. As soon as you discover the conflict of interest situation, you should highlight that, you should find an appropriate mechanism in your organization to register this conflict of interest so that it doesn't influence your behavior going forward, and it also build trust in future in the stakeholders. So you should be improving your trustworthiness. Conflict of interest could be like there could be a vendor who is indirectly connected or directly connected with you, or you might have worked for a particular company and that company is coming as a potential vendor and you know many people about it. You should be highlighting that information to your sponsor, that if they feel that can influence your decision making, then you may want to be out of vendor selection process. So that's one example of demonstrating conflict of interest, and that increases your trustworthiness. Yeah. Compliances. Yeah. So compliances, as a project, whatever we do, we need to work in the overall framework of organizational compliances. So we need to integrate compliances into the overall project culture. Now one of the critical thing which is expected from project manager is that you don't consider compliances as a burden. You consider compliances as a tool to ensure good quality and sustainable delivery to your stakeholder. So, you should be taking care of compliances in their right intent, so that they can help you in building the right product and serving the right way to your customer. So, that is a compliances. Whenever you are not clear, whenever you are confused about a particular compliance, you should seek counseling, you should go to an expert. One of the important thing about behavior of a project leader is that you should be knowing your limitations. So, whenever you see that this thing is not very clear to me, I should go to the appropriate place or appropriate authority or appropriate expert who can give me the right information. So, that is another way of meeting and supporting the compliances. So, what we see here is it is all about demonstrating the stewardship. It is all about doing that act of steward internally as well as externally, and we looked into the area of integrity, care, trustworthiness and compliance, which helps us in doing it. Now, overall what is expected is the last line where we are saying that we need to demonstrate broad commitment to financial, social, environmental impact for the overall project. So, we should take the holistic approach. All these things should help us in taking care of various important and other dimensions of our project in the holistic manner, which means in an integrated manner, so that we can achieve the overall goal of our project delivery. So, this is all about acting as a steward and helping your team as well as stakeholder achieve their objectives.